I'm going to go over your works cited. So as you're finding sources, you should be creating what's called a working works cited. And what that means is that it's subject to change. So you could find a source, put it on your works cited page, and maybe you decide later you're not going to use it. Cool. Then you delete it. The best part about doing this is that you have all the information there, so you don't have to scramble and go back and try and find all this information. So I'm just going to walk you through a couple different ways on how to do this and what it should look like. So this is how your works cited page should look. It's its own separate page. Works cited is centered in the middle. Then everything else is in alphabetical order by the first real word that is there for that source. I'm going to talk over how you figure out what the first thing to go there is in a minute. Okay, so you'll notice it's in alphabetical order. It needs to be that way because when someone reads your essay and they come to one of your in-text citations, they can turn to your works cited page and easily find the source where you receive that information from. Other things to point out is this is one full source, so the first line of a source is left a line, and any line thereafter for that source is indented 0.5, and all I did was drag this over on the ruler. Okay, so I'm going to show you a longer one. So this John Gowdy one, this one right here, so the first line is left indented, these two left a line, sorry, and these two are indented 0.5. So this is what your works cited should look like with your 5 to 7 sources for this essay. How do I get these to be correct? Well, first of all, going back to good old JSTOR, which is amazing, so I ended up getting the majority of my sources from JSTOR. So it's super simple. I found this really good journal, this article in this journal, and I'm going to use it. So I'm going to click Cite this item. I'm choosing MLA because that's the citations we use. I hit Copy, and I go to my separate page document, and I paste it. So it's not formatted correctly at all, but that's a super easy fix. So first of all, this needs to be double spaced, so that's super simple. And then, like I said, the first line is left aligned. Any line thereafter needs to be indented 5. So I'm going to click on this bottom arrow and I can drag it over to the boom. There is a super simple citation. So what do you do if you have something not from JSTOR? Well, I'm going to show you 2 different ways. The first way, I'm not going to show you this because you know how to do this. You can go to a citation generator. Now the problem with the citation generator is that they're not always correct. So this awesome site, Purdue OWL, Online Writing Lab, has everything you need to know, and here's MLA style. Okay, so the first thing I would like to show you on here is the where's everything go? Alright. So I'm going to go to the style guide, and this is super important, this part right here. So what this is saying is when you're deciding to cite, these are the order that you write things in on the works cited page. If you don't have one for that number, skip it. So first and foremost, if there's an author, you put them. That goes first. Sometimes our sources don't have an author, so I don't put anything. I just skip it, and I just put the title of the source. So this could be an article name, a web page name. Going back to this one, here's an example of that. Okay, I didn't have an author, so this is what I did. So that's super important to follow. Also then, if you're using a citation generator, you want to make sure it's correct. So I'm clicking electronic resources because that's super popular. Remember, if you're using websites though, they have to be non-biased, credible, and reliable. So I'm going to scroll down. It says, well, first of all, up here, it's citing an entire website. Don't do that. Nobody does that. You cite a page on a website. So you clicked somewhere on a website, and this is what you do. And it gives you two. So this one has an example with an author, and then this one didn't have an author, and it gives you an example. So what's in the quotation marks here is the title of the actual web page that they got this information from. Okay, so you can always check here. Another way you can do this is you can go to the reference tab, make sure you have MLA, and I'm going to do a works cited page. So how I did that, I added a new source and I chose what I did. So I did an journal article and I entered all of this information. The author was me, the titles, I didn't have to, so I'm showing you this because I did it incorrectly. You don't have to put in the quotation marks, it does it for you. So I'm the author, the title of the article is The Best English Teacher, obviously. The journal name is Smithy, year. Here's most of the stuff here is what you'll find. If you have more information, you can click show all and you can add that as well. And then it adds it for you. So super cool, super simple. So what you need to do is, for all your sources, you need to create a works cited page. I need you to do this so I can check your sources, make sure it's the right format, and then by having this done correctly, you can have your in-text citations done correctly, and I'm going to help you with that, and I can show you how you figure out what goes in the parentheses after your quotes. Alright, happy works cited!